SellHealth. It's Josh with another fantastic episode of the Affiliate Marketing Show. Once again, a very good friend of mine in the industry. He's one of the top affiliate managers at SellHealth Affiliate Network and also runs a very cool podcast called the Affiliate Report Podcast. Let's welcome into the show, Galel Fajardo. Galel, what's up?
What's up, Josh? How are you?
I'm doing well. Did I nail the pronunciation of the name?
Oh, you hit it out of the park, man. That's very good. On the spot, on a recording, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, we didn't practice it at all before we started, so
not at all.
Really
not at all.
So where are you talking to us from today?
I am talking to you live from the Nerve Center, which is my office here at home in sunny Southern California. It's also a current homeschool for two young children over on the other side of this wall. I've got my 11-year-old son who's in 5th grade and my 7-year-old going on 17. My daughter who's in 2nd grade. So they are currently homeschooling on the other side of the wall right now.
Nice. So they got like online classes or legit like homeschooling?
No. There's a reason why we did not choose to like traditionally homeschool, and we're experiencing that right now, as I'm sure many other parents are.
Yeah.
No, they go to a traditional school across town, but thanks to COVID-19 and this whole thing, they're currently homeschooling, and so yeah, it's good times.
Does that interfere with your work life, or like when you're in there, you lock the door and you don't see them for 8 hours?
So I make it a habit to get up and get out. I've realized with this whole lockdown thing how often I really did do that. I was in the bad habit of like staying locked in for 8 hours before, and I realized that wasn't very good for my mental health. And so I make it a habit to get out. Half the time I realize I'm getting out with my phone on mute to yell at them, telling them, shut up, daddy's trying to work. Daddy's trying to pay the bills,
Daddy loves you.
Yeah, daddy loves you, but shut up. So, thankfully, like affiliates and my team and everybody's been super understandable because everybody's kind of in the same boat right now. So, no, man, it's good. We're making it work. I'm used to working remote as I know you are as well. It's just some challenges because there's extra people here that I'm normally used to, them being out and about, right? Summertime, they're out at the beach and then daddy gets to work. So, we're all in this thing, right?
We're all in this thing together. Before we dive into the SellHealth talk and the podcast talk, which I spend a lot of time on, I'd love to know like what you were doing before you were doing anything related to affiliate marketing.
For sure.
Completely, like I was parking cars at a hotel. Like, I just want to get to know what you were doing, which will kind of set us up to how you got to where you are today.
No, I appreciate that. So how much time do we have, right? So I had thought that I was going to run for political office one day. I studied political science at UC Irvine. I then got interested in law and thought, it'd be really cool to be a prosecutor and then a judge one day. And so I was taking the pre-law route, and my dad, being a very smart man, says to me, Galel, you should probably like talk to other lawyers and see if they like what they're doing and all that sort of thing. So he started setting up meetings with his lawyer friends with me, and every single one of them says, I hate my life. I hate my job. I make tons of money and I don't know what to do with it because I can't. I'm working nonstop. I hate my life. So I decided not to go to law school, and I got into real estate. So when I graduated from UCI, it was 2004. Real estate was super hot all over the United States. And so I got in the mortgage industry, got my taste of making some real good income, like right out of the gate. And eventually I made the decision with my wife. We're married to my high school sweetheart, and Emily is her name. And so she's like, hey, yeah, you want to run a mortgage company? Like, go for it. I'll work with you. So she quit her job. She became like my office manager. And things were going great. And 2008, which the younger folks won't remember, but some of the older folks will remember, it was an enormous economic collapse that took place in the United States, really globally, where like just the bottom fell out of the market, right? There was no more money to lend. And so I literally went from, 30 to 40, $50,000 in income that was in the pipeline for the next coming month disappearing overnight. And I went, oh my gosh, this is brutal. Now, rewind back maybe about a year before that, when I'd started my company, I had looked at ways of generating leads myself. So I started learning SEO. And I mean, SEO back in 2006, 2007 was like cakewalk, right? Compared to what it is now. And then the very beginnings of social media and stuff. But then I started realizing, man, I really like this online marketing stuff because it's reducing my overhead, it's reducing my costs, and I'm able to like make more money, right? Like this is good. So I became a digital marketer while as a mortgage professional. Well, then when all this happened, I had to reinvent myself, right? I had to still find a way to make a living. And so again, I go to my dad, right? And I said, Dad, like, what the hell do I do? Right? He goes, well, time to reinvent yourself. And I mean, I was at the point where like now I was getting desperate, right? So I'm like making a resume, I'm applying for jobs, I'm going in for interviews. And then they find out that ever since I graduated from high school, I'd been an entrepreneur. Like I'd worked for myself independently. And they're like, you know what, when this market turns around, you're just going to take off. So, I'd love to have you, but no. And just kept getting rejected. I'm going, holy crap. So I called myself a digital marketing consultant. I went to people that I knew. I got hired for some small contracts, eventually got a job in digital marketing until eventually I was like running the marketing department for a group of online schools. And then got laid off from that company. And that led to never being employed ever again. Now even as an affiliate manager, I am a contractor and I have to generate my business, right? Mm-hmm. And I have a great arrangement with SellHealth, and so they're just a fantastic company to work for. And so now my life looks way different than it did before. But man, there was so many lessons to be learned. And then in that time period, I learned about affiliate marketing, and then the rest is kind of history. So that's in a nutshell what I was doing before affiliate marketing.
Sure. And then how'd you find your way from, the end of that story, let's say? I know you briefly mentioned SellHealth. So how'd you find your way into SellHealth? What was the transition like? And maybe tell us a little bit about the company as well.
Sure. So let me tell you first how I found affiliate marketing.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I was a digital marketing consultant, and during this time, man, I mean, like I can talk like real talk now, right? I mean, I was like, before I had a job and I was in that transition period, I was depressed and losing my mind because my wife was pregnant at the time. So I had a baby on the way, right? And no money coming in. And so I just was desperate. And I remember I was
choice.
I had no choice, no choice, right? Yeah. I just became desperate. And so I'm like, okay, like what can I do with the skill set that I have? So I remember where I lived down the street from a Barnes and Noble. I went to Barnes and Noble just to kind of like clear my head. And there was a book by Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Workweek. And like I scraped together however much it was, like 20 something bucks to buy the copy. And I read through that book in a day. And it was right there that I decided I'm going to do stuff online. And so first I started off with like buying some web domains and hanging out on forums that were like really more like web domain specific. And then I was like, wait a second, I can monetize these web domains way better than just parking them and taking parking income. I can make affiliate income. Scraped together some more money and bought an ebook. Like I always wondered who buys these things. Well, I was that guy, right? I bought an ebook for like $49. I still remember. And I thought at this time, like literally had like maybe a few $100 in the bank account. And I'm spending $50 on this ebook. And I'm just hoping to God my wife doesn't look over to see that I'm buying this thing, right? But this ebook, it was written by this one woman, and I don't remember who it was, but it was talking about like signing up for networks and this and that and the other and the whole process, right? So started diving into that, started trial by fire. Fast forward a few years, went to Affiliate Summit West, met people firsthand, started getting invited into Skype chats, and that eventually turned into Telegram chats, right? As people moved away from Skype.
Right.
And these people, like, I still have this tight circle of friends that I've been with for now, 12 years, and learning from them. And then from that group, like, a lot of opportunities arose. One of those gentlemen was Drew Clement, who at the time, he had Go Social. And so he brought me on as an affiliate manager at Go Social when I was like through one of these transition periods, like right after I got laid off. And so then when Drew closed Go Social, he went to SellHealth and he said, hey, listen, like, we need a new affiliate manager. Like, will you come to SellHealth? And so I had actually been a SellHealth affiliate years before. So I was familiar with all the stuff. And so went in, and this was, now going on 3 years, I think, over at SellHealth. And you wanted to, know about like, what is SellHealth? So SellHealth is a division of a company called Leading Edge Health. Leading Edge Health, what they do is they formulate, they study, and then they manufacture health supplements. Okay. And what SellHealth does is we run the affiliate side of that business. So we are partnering with people who drive traffic to sell those products to the general public. And we're most well known for the products in the sexual health space. So like so-called male enhancement, right? Or female enhancement, those types of supplements, but then also like muscle, general health, anti-aging, HGH releasers, skincare. I mean, there's multiple product lines that have grown over time and the company's been around since 2001. And that was one of the things that I was really attracted to, because in the, like, working in politics, for example, I saw the dirty side of politics and thought, I don't want to be one of those guys, right? In the mortgage industry, I saw the dirty side of the mortgage industry and said, I don't want to be one of those guys. Then as I was exposed to the back end of networks and talking to people in the industry, I was like, man, some of those networks are pretty bad, right? I had been left holding the bag on several things when companies went out of business. And so I didn't want to be associated with those companies. And so working with SellHealth, seeing companies doing it the right way, that's looking out for its affiliates, that's creating legit products. Like these guys, they like the amount of money that SellHealth and Leading Edge Health spend on like studies, right? Double-blind placebo studies to make sure that these products actually work is mind-blowing. And so that for me is something that I have no problem putting my name associated with. And so that's one of the reasons why I've stuck around with them forever, right? And you know how the industry works, right? You got like networks hitting you up all the time and stuff. And I'm a very loyal guy. And I love the people I work with. I love the team, love what we're doing. It's just been a ton of fun.
So why don't you name some of those bad networks for us?
Ha ha! Nice try.
On a serious note, though, I know you said you were an affiliate and
Yes.
then you transitioned to an affiliate manager. Can you tell us what that process was like? Because I'm sure there's a lot of affiliates watching this who, are probably considering like maybe one day I should be an affiliate manager. What were like some of the things that you saw once you were an affiliate manager that you didn't know as an affiliate that might benefit some affiliates watching this episode?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, it's something that, so on the podcast, right, the affiliate report, not to, name drop or anything, but like one of the things that Derek's our CEO. So Derek is my co-host on that show. One of the things that we've talked about is the fact that we are still active affiliates. So, but just not in the health space, right? So I don't do health stuff anymore because I don't want to be competitor with anybody, right? It's a conflict of interest. But like stuff that I enjoy, like the prepper niche, for example, like that's an area that I have always loved, personal protection, survival, firearms, and that sort of thing. I love writing about it. I love talking about it. It's like kind of like a hobby. So I'm still, for all intents and purposes, an active affiliate. So I never went away from being an affiliate. I just don't do health stuff anymore. And the transition was really like, I would tell people, if you're thinking about becoming an affiliate manager, that it requires a certain personality. Like, I've found affiliate managers that don't like dealing with people so much, but it's very rare. Like, you have to like dealing with people. You have to like dealing with different types of people. But one of the reasons why I love this is because my expertise is in being a consultant, right? And I love consulting. Like, you give me your business, and you say, here's my business and here's where I'm struggling. Can you help me? And I'll look at it, right? And I can say, well, have you tried this? Have you tried that? It's kind of like, from everything from conversion rate optimization to user experience to just like plain old stuff like copywriting, right? There's just so many elements in that. And so, because by nature I am an educator, I'm a teacher, that is one of the reasons why I really love it and why the transition was really easy. Now, instead of just sitting around diagnosing stuff that was going on with my own websites, now I'm helping out other people and helping them figure out how best to make more money on their own websites.
Cool. So I'm going to say a word and you're going to reply with the first one or two words that comes to your head.
Okay.
SellHealth.
Trusted.
That's it. That's the game. You don't get any more words.
Damn it. See, that's
a
like
good
putting
one
a
word.
muzzle on me is impossible, dude. That's the thing, man.
You're a great guest, man. This is already a fantastic episode, and we're only like halfway through, so this is awesome. Just transitioning to the next question here. With we talked about you working from home. You're used to it. I'm used to it. For some people that aren't used to it, where do you see this industry heading over the next couple of years? What kind of changes and what kind of adaptations are people going to need to make?
For sure. So I have always been harping on the fact that everybody, I don't care if you're based in the United States, you're based in other countries, you want to keep alphabet agencies off your tail, right? Alphabet agencies, what are those? The FTC, right? The Federal Trade Commission, the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, the FBI, right? Federal Bureau of Investigation, and that's just sad that I have to tell people that, hey, some of the stuff that people do is downright illegal. Yeah. And I get it. It's easy, quote unquote, easy money. But I'm telling you, I've been in this industry for a long time. I've seen so many people that were high, riding high, felt like nothing could touch them. And then boom, they get hit with something and then they disappear, right? Next thing you know, oh yeah, because they're paying off some judgment they got or whatever. So this goes for at all times, do the right thing. Don't screw people over, right? I mean, it's kind of you'd think it goes without saying, but really, be compliant. Over the next couple of years, you're going to see a lot of people entering the space again. So we saw the industry really expand, and then we saw it really contract, especially over the last couple of years where you had, credit card processors were dumping companies and then networks had to close because they couldn't keep free trials up and running. Now, with what's happened as a result of the coronavirus, you're going to see so many more people re-entering the space that previously had left because they need to make money. Mm-hmm. So in some cases, you'll have a little bit more competition. It's just going to be more noise out there, but I see more opportunity. And when I say more noise, I mean, you're going to have those people that are going to be preying upon those new people in. So you're going to see way more make money online stuff, and you're going to see more of those types of offers. Unfortunately, it reminds me of 2008, where there's a lot of the federal grant type scams that were running around. So you'll see more of that stuff. And I would encourage people to stay away from it. Don't feed into that. Instead, make legit products, right? You can come up with packaging an interview like this, where you're talking to, just a back and forth, packaging it up and selling that as an informational product. That's a legit thing that people will get value out of. I see huge amounts of opportunities with health. This is now I have people that I'm talking to that never thought about health before, and now they're freaking out. damn, I got to take care of myself, right? I got to boost my immune system. Like nobody was talking about immune system before any of this. So huge opportunities in the health space. And that's very self-serving for me to say that. But also
that's the whole point of this interview, man.
Right,
We're
exactly.
you. Yeah.
That's right. But also like entrepreneurship space, right? Making money online, dating niche is also going to be big, right? As people are looking at this, like, I don't want to do the next quarantine by myself, right? So there's just a ton of opportunity for people who do this the right way. Travel, if you're in travel, like it's going to take a while to recover. Like it may take years for it to recover. So I would encourage people in travel, like don't abandon it, but you may want to pivot and look at some other opportunities.
What's your take on, offers and programs focused around like face masks and like stuff related to the virus?
I don't like it. I'll just tell you, like, and I'm not one to kind of like hold back. I don't like it. I don't like it. The reason I don't like it is because I know the margins on those things and it's taking advantage of consumers. Now, there's people that have the mentality like, well, if somebody's stupid enough to, spend $20 on something, that's their problem. The mistake in that type of mentality is that I'm very different, right? I look at us as marketers, like we have there's certain like ethics that I think that marketers should have, because I know that with the power of my written word and my spoken word that I can compel people to do or not do certain things. And as a result of that, there's a responsibility on me that the things that I'm pushing people to do should be things that I think are correct, right? So like, one of the skill sets that I encourage people to develop is copywriting, right? I think copywriting, like everybody should be a great copywriter, because I don't care if you're a dentist or if you are a stay-at-home mom, you're going to have to write an email, whether it's to the teacher of the classroom, you're going to have to compel people with a written word. And as a result of having that skill set, I see a responsibility. So I don't like the face mask stuff because I know how cheap it is to get those. I know that they're probably not N95s, even though they say they're N95s, right? Mm-hmm. And you have people that are honestly like putting their trust in there. My wife is immune compromised. And as a result of that, she has to stay here. Like I'm limiting her interactions going out. And let's assume like she's a single mom, right? And she needs to take care of her kids. And she comes across one of these like fake masks, and she's going to spend a bunch of money, and she's putting her trust in this product that doesn't work. It could cost her life, right? And that's not being dramatic. That's the reality of the situation. So I don't like that stuff. I really don't.
I think you're not alone there. I've heard a few people talk about that. It seems like most of the people feel the same way as you.
Yeah. And I get it in the affiliate marketing space. Like we know like people are attracted to it because there's so much money in there, right? And then you got the gurus who are out there pushing stuff. And I know that people are like, oh, it's the hustle, man. Like respect the hustle. You got to stack cash right now during this time. Yeah, stack cash. Absolutely. I can tell you like my last 2 months have been some of my biggest months at SellHealth because more people are at home. More people are with their loved ones, their spouses. And so they're buying male enhancement pills, right? Like that's just the nature of what's happening. Look at Pornhub's traffic, right? It's skyrocketing. So you have tons of stuff in the adult space. Okay. Like people are getting value out of that, right? It's okay to make a ton of money, but do it the right way. So anyway, that's my rant. That's my rant for your episode, man.
No, that's probably the first of like 2 or 3 more, I'm sure. I know you briefly mentioned the Affiliate Report podcast that you do with Derek. I'd love for you to go into detail about that, because I think it'll kind of segue into the next few questions. So tell us about the podcast, what you guys talk about, who your, demographic is for people that already listen to it, or maybe that should be listening to it.
For sure. So it's been very interesting. So when Derek approached me with this idea and he said, hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. I'd like to have you join me on it, which I was honored to do, right? Like CEO of your company asked, I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. And we wanted to make it for the affiliate marketing industry in general. So whether you are an affiliate manager, whether you are an affiliate, whether you're someone who provides services, like you're going to get value out of it, right? more catered towards affiliates because we wanted to make it someplace where people could get to know us, so to speak, and get to know who we are through our conversations. And so we approach topics that are related to, just everyday stuff that affiliates deal with, right? It's like how to choose an offer. And then that's where Derek and I will rant about affiliates and how they look at the wrong stuff, right? That they're obsessed with the wrong numbers. Like, yes, be obsessed about numbers, but look at the right numbers, right? And here's why. And so we wanted to give a quote unquote inside look based upon the information that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. There's a lot of stuff that we see that affiliates do correctly and a lot of stuff that affiliates do poorly. And so we wanted to bring light to some of those. And so what I will typically do is I will kind of look at the Facebook groups and, look to see what people are talking about. And then from there, we'll come up with our topics. So we do an episode every week. Theaffiliatereport.com is where, people can go and subscribe. And then on there, we just we'll sit there and sometimes Derek goes on a rant. Sometimes I go on a rant and sometimes it's more back and forth. He and I agree, I would say 90% of the time on certain things. And sometimes we disagree. And that's great because my job's not to be a yes man. My job's to no, Derek, I have a different opinion than you do. Here's why. And that's one of the really cool things that I've enjoyed about working with him as a co-host, but then also working with him as a CEO is the fact that he wants to hear different opinions. At the end of the day, he makes the final call, right? So it's been a lot of fun to be able to do that. Our demographic, right? Who's been watching it? People who are beginners in the industry, but then people who are industry veterans also have been listening. And I love getting their questions. Well, they'll ask stuff. It's one of the things I really enjoy is just being able to help and give people actual actionable stuff, right?
So you guys don't just discuss health-related affiliate offers. It's the whole entire industry.
The whole industry, because like I said, right, Derek and I both are still like Derek has been on a marketer before the internet, right? And so Derek comes from the information space where he's written courses and he speaks in front of thousands of people all over the world. Like he's still doing speaking engagements and teaching. Not right now, right? Obviously, because we're all quarantined. But before, I mean, he did this 8-week multi-country tour teaching how to do internet marketing. And so we talk about multiple different niches online because we didn't want it to be a 30-minute commercial on just SellHealth, right? Nobody wants to hear that. Obviously, I find ways of working it into the conversation because that's what I'm dealing with from day to day, but we talk about everything. Awesome.
So I know you mentioned all types of affiliates listen to that podcast, but let's focus on the beginners that you also mentioned.
Sure. Yeah.
What would be some advice you would give to a new affiliate who is a beginner, just getting started in this space? Because I think you being an affiliate yourself, now an affiliate manager and an affiliate, I think your answer to this question would go a long way for someone who's just getting started themselves.
No, that's a great question. And I wish that I had heard somebody talking about this when I first got started. So the things that I would pass on to somebody who's brand new is number one, cash is king. Okay. Cash is king. So eventually as you will make money, because you will make money, right? You're going to go through periods where you're like, am I ever going to make something? I'll tell you, I still remember my first conversion, right? I was like, oh my gosh, this actually works. Cash is king. So don't treat that money, don't spend it before it arrives in your bank account. You've got to save. You've got to be wise with your income that you generate because everything's fleeting, right? So Google can make an algorithm change that affects your business and tanks your traffic by 50%. I remember when Panda and Penguin came out, I had friends who were affiliate managers. They're like, my income, I lost 100% of my income overnight with this algorithm change. And that's a scary thing when somebody else has an opportunity to tweak your business like that. So save money because things go up and down. Second thing I would tell people is revenue is not profit. Okay. So when they see these screenshots that people post online of how great their campaigns are going, the question I asked, the question that you, Josh, would ask, the question that other veterans would ask was, okay, great, but how much did you make on that? Right? Yeah, okay, you brought in $400,000 in a week. How much of that did you actually keep? And then you find out, oh, they brought in 400K, but they spent 500K to be able to get that, right? And those screenshots look great. So revenue is not profit. Focus on profit. And then the third piece of advice, because I have lots of advice that I would pass on, but like just to keep it short, is make friends. Make friends in the industry, because we are working on an island, it feels like, right? We're so separate. But if you can make friends, and you find people that you can actually trust and you can actually open up to, you'll learn from them. And like friends of mine now, like when I first started, I was very protective of stuff. And then once I started finding success, I would just like wanted to keep everything to myself. And then you finally like get to a point where you realize, dude, this internet is actually pretty damn big, right? There's opportunity for everybody. And you realize that even people in your own niche, right? Like the prepper niche. Let's take that for example. Stop talking about health. Let's talk about the prepper niche, right? There's some people that focus on survival food, and there's other people that deal with like shelter. Okay, those are two totally separate areas, right? You can benefit by networking and talking and exchanging ideas back and forth. In health, you got some people dealing with mental health and anxiety, and some people who are dealing with sleep, and others that are dealing with sexual health, right? There's just so many different areas. So make friends, but I say this very carefully, right? But watch your ass, because let me tell you, like this industry unfortunately attracts some people who are looking for easy money. And I know people that have just been burned by people who they thought were friends and they got screwed over. So just be careful, be mindful, be skeptical, unfortunately, but that's kind of how we have to be in life, unfortunately, right? You have people that will say one thing and do another thing. So make friends, but be careful before you do business with people. Have agreements, have written agreements, because at the end of the day, that will, back up anything else. And get out and network, right? Go out to events, talk to people. Which is going
to be hard right now. So what would be your advice in terms of networking right now?
Yep. So networking right now, and I know I'm going to come in. I'm considered old, right? 37 years old, right? Oh my gosh, this old guy. But honestly, like forums. So there's forums that I love. I love going on forums. That's a great place to meet people and network. You do that by providing value, asking the right questions, getting involved in conversations. Facebook groups is another place that you begin to network, and then you get invited into private group chats. Private group chats really have made me more money than anything else in, online. Private group chats. Like there's a Skype group that I'm a part of that has generated tens of millions of dollars in income as a result of that Skype chat. I'm not talking about myself personally, IRS. I'm talking about like collectively in sales have generated tens of millions of dollars, right?
Disclaimer. Yeah.
Yeah. Disclaimers to the IRS who's going to be listening. So, and this is a group of, 8 guys, right? And so that is how we all met on Wicked Fire, right? We met on Wicked Fire. That was this like online shit show. And then we started connecting via group chats, and the rest is history.
So I know you briefly mentioned you remember your first conversion. I'm curious, what was that first conversion?
I'm ashamed to actually admit what my first conversion was. Don't hold it against me, okay? So I was a brand new affiliate, and I had a web domain that was acai related, right? This is back in the acai days. And I remember selling a trial, an acai trial. And I think it was like probably double brokered because nobody would accept my affiliate application because I was brand new. And I think it was like for like $34 or something, right? But I remember just being overjoyed about it because it proved to me that this thing actually worked. So that was my first conversion that I remember.
So you were an affiliate, now affiliate manager and affiliate. To just kind of roll right off of our previous question, what are some of the most important qualities you look for in new affiliate signups to the SellHealth affiliate program?
That's a very good question, Josh. My answer is going to be probably different than other affiliate managers that you talk to. But I will tell you that is honesty. Like I want honesty. So if you are based outside of the United States, like I can see the IP address that people apply on. I can see on the application if they've used a proxy, right? I mean, this stuff's not unknown to any of us, right? And so if somebody's telling me that they're based in the United States with some made up address, but they're really based in Japan, okay? That's kind of a red flag to me. And so I'll like ask the question like, hey, listen, like I see you're in Japan, like we accept international affiliates. Can you just like tell me what's up, right? And then like most people just will confide in saying like, look, like I just figured that you wouldn't accept me. And I was like, no, I need you to be like upfront.
Right.
And here's why I say honesty. It's because it is doing us a disservice if we bring people on who will not be straightforward with us. The more honest that somebody can be with us about a traffic source, and obviously like we don't want to know like what you're bidding on per se and like what your campaign totally, like I get it. There's stuff that you want to keep private and that's totally fine. But at the end of the day, we are very mindful of fraud. And so I have a direct tie into the CRM. I can see if something's been turned down because it's fraudulent. And I want to know whether that's affiliate fraud or whether there's just outright credit card fraud somebody was doing. And so the more honest and transparent somebody can be with me, the better that will serve them, because then I'll approve their application, right? If you try to submit multiple applications under different names because I rejected you before, like that won't work. Like I've had people that will message me and say, hey, I got my application denied, but I would really like to be one of your affiliates. Can you please help me? Absolutely, and I'll walk them through it and I'll tell them, oh, okay, this is why it was declined. And sometimes it's like minor things that can be fixed. So another thing that helps people like helps people get accepted is message an affiliate manager, right? Contact an affiliate manager, say, hey, listen, I want to apply, but I'm hesitant because of X, Y, and Z. I don't have much experience. I don't have a website set up yet or whatever, right? Just be upfront, be honest. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to mitigate risk, right? We're trying to mitigate risk for the company and all that sort of thing.
How do you define success? Is it money? Is it happiness? Is it having 8 baseballs and glass cases? What's your definition of success?
Oh, you're looking at the baseballs behind me. So it's kind of funny. So I'm a baseball umpire. I umpire baseball. I umpire youth baseball.
Way.
I umpire high school baseball, adult baseball.
You get into fights with the parents?
I try not to. It's always the moms. The moms are the ones that give me grief. It's kind of funny. You can't really see it over here, but there's this leather chair I have here, and there's like a wrestling belt that's there. And I may or may not have received that wrestling belt for having the most ejections last season. So I'll just leave that there. How do I define success? This is a tough one. Because for me, it's evolved over time. Okay. So when I was in my early 20s, I've been an entrepreneur. I've worked for myself since I was 18. And so at that time, when I was 18, I would tell you it would be to have $1 million, right? $1 million. That's success to me. But then I also went through a time period where I made a lot of money and I was depressed out of my mind, depressed and anxious and going through a really, really hard time. And then I realized, wait a second, my mental health is suffering even though I have piles of money. So it can't be a dollar figure, right? Can't be the dollar figure. And then I went through a time period where I had no money, had to declare bankruptcy, had to lose our condo in foreclosure, and was freaking out about that stuff. That was not success at all. And then fast forward to now, where we're in a great financial situation. We're comfortable. And I've realized it's not about the money. There's no dollar figure that will ever make you feel content. For me, it's the freedom to do what I want to do. That to me is what success is. The fact that I can do what I want when I want. It's the lifestyle that I get to live, right? Some people would look at my lifestyle and go, oh God, that looks awful, right? But for me, man, like I get to wake up, I get to walk down the hall and come into my office. I get to work with people around the world. I get to make a great living working with a great team at a great company that legit cares about what they're doing, right? That gives me confidence to put those products in people's hands to go sell, right? That's what I like, right? I love the fact that when the world was normal, right? I could leave here at 3:30 in the afternoon, go coach my son's little league team, come back home, do a little bit more work, right? And then hang out. And then like we took a road trip last summer and we went up the coast. We left here from Orange County, went all the way up to Seattle. We spent like 14 days on the road. And all I needed was my laptop. My laptop is all I needed for me to continue to work, for me not to skip a beat, to still be engaged in meetings with my team. That to me, I said, man, what a life I get to live. Like, this is insane. And this has come obviously like as a result of everything that came before, right? It didn't just happen. I invested in myself and a lot of other things, right? But to me, that's success. Like, to me, I'm like, this is success. My dad busted his ass. Both my dad and mom busted their asses for me, and they couldn't do the things they wanted to do because they were trying to like create this life for us. And the fact that I'm able to work and be able to have that flexibility means everything to me, because I know my parents would have wanted to do that had they had the opportunity. And now I'm getting that opportunity to do that. So to me, the freedom to do what you want when you want is what defines success for me.
That was a fantastic answer. I agree 100%. Has there been a specific failure that you've experienced in your life that you look back on now and you're like, I'm so glad I went through that because it actually led to my success today?
Yeah, actually there's several. Where do we start, man? I've been very fortunate to be married to a great woman. Okay. I'm very fortunate because I had a lot of friends that when they went through really tough times, their partner bailed on them. Mm-hmm. Mine did not. Mine stuck with me. It was hard. And I'm sure she questioned her sanity as far as like, why am I still doing this? But she stuck with me. Right. But there have been multiple failures. So I would say like my brain short circuiting and like being depressed and being majorly anxious during a time period in my mid-20s was a major failure for me. Without that, I would have never studied psychology, never gone to graduate school and gotten a graduate degree.
Subtle brag.
Subtle brag. I know. I graduated grad school in 2017. So I was working at SellHealth still, working at SellHealth, but going through grad school, working full time. But I got a master's in performance psychology. So because I wanted to be able to like coach other people and teach them how to not F themselves up like I did, right? And so had I not gone through that, that wouldn't have happened. And that has had so many great impacts on me. Declaring bankruptcy, that in and of itself, it taught me, number one, I'm not immune from things happening to me because I thought, man, I am the shit, man. Nothing can happen to me. I'm, born in the United States, whatever, right?
America.
America, baby. Nothing can happen to me. Nope, not so, man. I had to declare bankruptcy. And I always thought like, oh, people who declare bankruptcy, like, oh my goodness. Well, I became one of those people, right? And all of a sudden it changed the way I looked at other people. It changed the way that I looked at finances. It changed the way that I looked at success. And then even after that, like getting laid off from work, like that was major. Like I still remember the drive home. Here I am, grown ass man, 2 kids, with a wife, and I'm bawling driving home going, oh my God, I don't know. I'm holding a severance check for like $8,000, right? Knowing it's going to last me like maybe a month, right? And that was an eye opener, right? Because I had to realize like, how much am I spending per month, right? Like budgeting and all these types of things you don't think about when you get money coming in regularly. So all those types of things, just like layoffs, bankruptcy, foreclosure, anxiety and depression, those things set me up for better things because better things came as a result of those struggles. I can go back to each one of those and point out specific things that happened as a result of them that led me to where I am today, period.
What's one of the best investments you've ever made? Could be a physical product. It could be what you just mentioned, maybe an investment in yourself and mental well-being, but something that you are really happy you did invest in.
You see it right behind me. Right here. Yeah. That library right there. That is the best education that I could have paid for. even compared to my like master's degree, right? Master's degree is great, but it's limited in scope. And that degree was awesome. Like I apply it every single day. But I tell you, there have been nuggets. Now, mind you, there have been books I've read that have been total crap that have meant nothing, and they don't stick around on the shelf. But those that like books that I've read that have been a catalyst for something, one new idea that I've been able to implement, one new idea that I've gotten that I've been able to give to an affiliate that increases, conversion rate, right? Or, just a little percent here and there that improves, that has been by far and away the best investment. I know a lot of people talk crap about people who read, right? And like, oh, this and that. And you've got these guys like Ty Lopez, who's like, oh, I read a book a day, whatever. So I get it. Like there's like skepticism about it, but I'm telling you, like knowledge, whether it is books, podcasts, online programs. I've joined online programs from people that I have learned a tremendous amount from. So my self-education, by far and away, best investment possible, because it has helped form me and helped to keep me on track when those times have been really tough, right? The times that you are like down in the dumps is when you need to like that's when somebody has to feed you something. Right? Plain and simple. That's where somebody has got to feed you. And so that's where a good book, good education, all that stuff comes into play.
What would you tell a young adult who's getting ready to enter the real world? Maybe they're coming out of school, maybe they didn't go to school, but something you look back on and you're like, I was way too focused on that, and I probably should have been more focused on this.
Yeah. So like I said, I was laser focused on becoming a prosecutor or a judge. And had it not been for my dad telling me like, why don't you talk to people in that career? I'd probably be miserable right now somewhere. Or addicted to something, right? Like honestly, like it's scary to think about, but like there's a huge addiction problem in the law community. And now I realize why. For somebody who's young, getting out of college, about to get in the real world, I would tell them like, be prepared to course correct. Right. So I had always looked at my life like a flight plan, right? So I'm going to fly from John Wayne Airport here in Orange County to LaGuardia in New York. Here's my flight plan. And this is the way I'm going to go. Right. And that's how I'd always envisioned my life when I was graduating from college. And then turbulence hits, right? And then you got to course correct. You got to go somewhere else and this and that. Now, man, I am not even near New York, right? I'm like in, Rio de Janeiro, right? I mean, like I'm nowhere where I imagined I would be. And so be prepared for that. Be open to change, but mostly work your ass off. That's the thing I think people like disregard, is the fact that there's so much competition. In order to set yourself apart, you have to work, right? You have to put the work in. Like everybody wants the benefit, but nobody wants to put in the work. It's like there's a lifter, and it's killing me that I don't remember his name. Ronnie something or other, Ronnie Johnson or something. Big old bodybuilder. He's like, man, everybody wants to be ripped, but nobody want to lift no heavy ass weights, right? And it's true, right? Like we don't want to put in the work. So I would tell people, work their ass off. I've talked to a lot of high performers that have like these dream jobs, and one of the consistent things I hear from them has been, be willing to work for free. So if you want to work in a specific industry and you want to show somebody the value that you can provide, especially like in a really competitive market, be prepared to work for free. Be prepared. Like it's okay to live with your parents for a few years, right? While you put aside some money, right? Absolutely. Right. It's okay to put money aside, and then work for free, because those contacts will be everything. Right. So I would tell people, focus on building your network, work your ass off, work for free if you have to, and then be prepared to course correct as things happen.
We'll give you one or two more questions here before we let you go. This has been amazing. Thank you so much for being a guest on
my pleasure.
The Affiliate Marketing Show. We'll have you back anytime. What are some bad recommendations that you currently hear being given in the affiliate space that maybe our viewers should steer clear of or approach with caution?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I'm glad you asked that one. One of the really bad pieces of advice that I hear thrown out by people is that they need to find the offers with the highest EPCs, right? Look for the highest EPCs or look for the highest commissions. Does EPC and commission matter? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. But like, let's say it's a rev share, right? And it's like 50% rev share. 50% of zero is still zero. Okay. So if the offer's not converting with your traffic, it's going to be a crap offer for you. And so what I find that affiliates will do is they'll obsess over EPC, and they will take the EPC number that a network gives them or that somebody else gives them as gospel. The fact of the matter is that EPC matters. EPC is totally different. It's like blood pressure, right? If we take somebody like, my blood pressure is 140 over 90, right? And like, you can't just say like that's a terrible blood pressure. You have to look at the whole picture of somebody's health, right? There's so many of these like numbers that we get obsessed over that it matters. The specific situation matters, right? What type of traffic are you running? What are they basing that EPC number off of? Is it off their own internal traffic? Is it branded? Is it pay-per-click? Pay-per-click, are you using generic terms or using branded terms, right? Is it SEO traffic? What term are they ranking for, right? So many different factors that you can lie with statistics, right? I mean, I was in political science, right? Like, I get how you can use numbers to tell whatever story you want. And that's why when people ask me like, what's your EPC? I hesitate because I want to make sure that I know what type of traffic they're talking about, right? And so I would tell people like, look at things through a wide angle lens. Don't focus on one thing, because if the offer is terrible and just because somebody tells you it converts doesn't mean that it does convert. Like, you're going to have to test. And when you start to test, like, have an adequate amount of sample data, right? Like, I'll have affiliates say, I tested an offer, and well, how many clicks did you test on that offer? Like, I had 20 clicks. I'm like, sorry, that's not going to be a sufficient data point for you to be able to determine whether or not that offer works well for you or not, right? So those are some of the bad recommendations that I hear.
Awesome. Let's finish this up with your biggest regret followed by your favorite achievement so far.
Okay, so I always used to say the cliche thing of like, I have no regrets, Josh, but that's not true. Okay, so now I'm at a ripe old age where I can be a little bit more transparent. One of my biggest regrets in life is that I allowed my fears to stop me from doing things sooner. Okay, I allowed my fear of criticism, my fear of whatever, people saying something about me, whatever it is, right? I allowed other people's opinions to affect me to not do things that I wanted to try. And so I would say, forget that. Like, don't allow other people's opinion, right? They're not paying your bills. They're not, living with you. Maybe some of them are living with you. I don't know. But like, they should not rule over your life. So don't allow fears to stop you from doing stuff that you want to do.
And
then my favorite achievements, I would have to say, and it's a very cliche answer, but it's so true. And it's being a dad. Mm-hmm. Like, for me, it didn't happen by accident. Like, my wife and I discussed it, we planned it, and we said, okay, let's have children. We realized we'll never be ready. Like, you'll never be ready. There's no dollar amount that will ever make you get you prepared to being a parent. But being a dad is by far and away the greatest accomplishment I've had, because I have loved seeing these little things that I somehow had something to do with their creation. Like, I had a little part in that, right? And just seeing them grow and like have a mind of their own is just mind blowing. It's absolutely astounding. So yeah, being a dad by far and away best accomplishment I've ever achieved.
It's not the wrestling belt for most ejections.
That's very high on the list. Like, when I was thinking about that question, it was like, do I talk about the most ejections? Do I talk about being a dad? So I opted for being a dad, but that one's very high up there as well.
What's your ejection thing? Are you just like, you're out of here? Like,
it's this handsome Josh, I'm going to need you to stop. I heard you. No more talking about the strike zone. We're done. It's a 3-step process. Then it's like, Josh, this is your warning. If you continue, I'll have no choice but to eject you from the game. And then after that, that's it, Josh, you're gone. And then I just take out my notebook and write down what inning it was and let them scream and yell at me. And I'm just pretending like they don't exist. And on the game continues.
Do you have like a like a classic strikeout call that's unique to you, like a
it's not so much the verbal, it's the physical. So people have told me they like watching me do strike three, where it's basically just I punch and then I rip the phone book and I do it authoritatively, and it's fun. It's good times.
That looks like a good one. Galel, you've been a fantastic guest, one of the best so far. Honestly, I'd love to have you on again anytime. Before we let you go, we're going to finish this interview up with a little game I like to call the OfferVault Hot Seat. Here's how it works. Right. Not related to affiliate marketing whatsoever. Okay. We just want to get to know you as the person. It's going to be a series of 5 would you rather questions that get a little harder as we go. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Question 1. Would you rather run 100 miles per hour or fly 10 miles per hour?
Oh, easy. Fly 10 miles per hour. Absolutely.
No matter how long it takes to get where you're going, you're fine.
Oh, yeah. No. Flying would be badass. I'm all about it.
All right, cool. I would agree. Question 2. Would you rather continue your current life or have the ability to restart it?
Oh, jeez. You know what? I'm going to say continue my current life just because curiosity killed the cat, right? So you look back at things in life, you're like, I wonder what would have happened had I done this. And I'm that guy. You put something in front of me, you say, don't touch the red button. And what am I going to do? I'm going to touch the red button. And so I have no, like, if I were to restart life, I'm afraid of the consequences. So to spare humanity, keep with my current life.
I would 100% stay with my current life as well. Obviously, there would be serious repercussions if either of us answered the other one.
That's right.
You're very smart man. Question 3. Would you rather read minds or accurately predict the future?
I'd rather accurately predict the future because then I could buy options that don't expire. So
you could cheat the system.
I would just be using my knowledge for the system, not cheating the system. I'd be using my predictions.
I think I would have to go the opposite and read minds just to know what people are always thinking about me. I think if you can predict the future, it's going to open up a whole can of worms. I just don't want to get involved.
I think I'm too scared to know what people are thinking about me. So
after all that talk about don't care what people are thinking about you, the truth comes out.
If I don't hear it, then it's out of sight, out of mind, you know?
Question 4, we're getting a little darker here. Would you rather have no one show up to your wedding or no one show up to your funeral?
You know what? I had a wedding and the wedding was amazing. And what made the wedding awesome were all the people that were there. That is what made that day so special. Aside, obviously marrying my wife, that was a very happy day. And what I remember was all the people. If nobody shows up to my funeral, I'm not here. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good with it. Galel's with Jesus. It's all good. If nobody decides to show up, it don't matter.
Disclaimer, we respect all religions on this show.
That's right. We respect all faiths and lack thereof around here.
Question number 5, this will wrap us up here. Would you rather only be able to eat pizza for a year or not be able to eat pizza for a year?
You know what? I could not eat pizza for a year because there's just something magical that happens with your body once you hit your 30s, that now the food that was amazing isn't as amazing for you. And I discovered this after maybe, going to Secret Pizza at 4 a.m. at the Cosmo at Affiliate Summit West, that those 3 slices of pizza at 3 a.m. don't sit that well at like 6 or 7 a.m. So Josh, I could do without pizza for a year.
I could do without pizza for a year too. I lived in New York for a while. I know all about Secret Pizza and it not being so good the next day.
There you go.
You've been an amazing guest. Honestly, one of the best we've had on the show. I really appreciate you being here. Before we let you go, I'd love to give you the floor for any final statements about SellHealth or just, Galel as the person. Go for it.
No, I appreciate it, Josh. Thank you so much for having me on here. This has been a lot of fun. I hope we get to do this again and talk about other affiliate marketing related stuff. And no, really, SellHealth, it's been a fantastic company to work for. And if you are an affiliate and you're looking for an opportunity to work with a company that is doing it the right way, that is going to do what they say, is going to actually pay you on time, like we've done every 2 weeks since 2001, we'd love to have you aboard at SellHealth. Just go to sellhealth.com, fill out an affiliate application. You can get a hold of me there. My contact info is there on the website. You can always email me, galel@sellhealth.com. And we'll tell you the straight scoop, right? I mean, the fact of the matter is, as I think you've been able to tell through this interview, I don't like to BS around, right? I like to just kind of like be straightforward. And so when you ask me if certain things perform well, I'm not just going to tell you yes, because that's what you want to hear. I'll tell you what works and what doesn't work, right? And that's just kind of how I work. I think that's why my affiliates like working with me. And I've had affiliates, that I had from before I was with SellHealth that were with, the previous network. And so I think that's one of the things that they like about it. So yeah, just look forward to getting to meet some of you all and getting to help you scale your business up, because there's just a tremendous amount of opportunity. And always welcome to come listen in at theaffiliatereport.com, the Affiliate Report podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, and all the other platforms where you can listen to podcasts. So thanks again for having me, Josh. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for being on the show. For Galel from SellHealth and myself, Josh from OfferVault, let's make that paper. Let's make that dough. This was the Affiliate Marketing Show. We'll see you next time, everyone.